5 things you must do before hanging up the uniform. Whether you serve 4 years or 20 years, it doesn't even matter. The process can be overwhelming, but if you handle the right things early, you'll set yourself up for success and for a smoother transition. Today I'm going to break down those 5 things. Let's start with the first one, the DD-214. The DD-214 is the golden ticket. It's the last official document that you will receive on your last day in uniform. You need to make sure the admin portion of the DD-214 is correct, meaning your first name, last name, DOD, date of birth. Make sure your time in service, your start date, and your end date, which is the last day of your service, everything, all those dates are correct, because that's the actual where you break down all your active duty military service. That's very important. Make sure those dates are correct. Also, the awards are very important, and your deployment, your combat tours. The awards are important because if you are a Purple Heart recipient, you might qualify for a lot of different benefits. Okay, so make sure your DD-214 is accurate, 100% accurate. Double check and triple check. Number 2, start scheduling your medical appointments way before you start separating. If you drop your retirement packet or you are transitioning out, ETSing, finishing up your contract, make sure you start hitting up the doc. Okay, I'm not saying you go out there and start lying that your back hurts or your leg hurts. Just make sure whatever condition that you have while you're in service are annotated on your record. You need to make sure if you hurt yourself a couple years ago, make sure that is documented on your medical record, from allergies, from migraines, for lower back, for legs, for ankles, anything. Make sure you start hitting up the doctors, okay? Because the last thing you want to do is, before you transition out, when it comes time for you to do the VA claims, none of that stuff is documented. You need to make sure all those conditions are documented prior to you being separated. Number 3, research your local benefits. Federal benefits get a lot of attention. Why? Because in a lot of different states, as soon as you retire and you get that DD-214, you might be able to get no property tax, like in the state of Florida and in some other states as well. But if you decide to move over to, I don't know, New York, you know, the expenses in New York are like super high. Same thing when you go to Miami, you might be exempt for property taxes, but the actual lifestyle in Miami or New York is way higher than in another state. So make sure you research your local benefits, okay? Take some time to learn what's available in your state. You might be surprised. There's a lot of support out there for veterans, so make sure you do your research. Number 4, build a fitness plan, okay? You need to build a fitness plan. Here's something most people overlook: your health. After you separate it, once you leave the structured environment like PT environment, it's easy to fall off the track, okay? So make sure after you separate it, make sure you develop a fitness plan, a nutrition plan, okay? You're not gonna be doing organized PT, running in groups. Just make sure you at least hit the gym, start eating healthy, because if you serve for 20 plus years, you probably are now 50, 60 years old. Make sure you start eating healthy, and make sure you're still keeping your exercise, even though if you only serve 4 years. I mean, that's some facts, okay? You need to make sure you continue to do exercising and make sure you eat healthy, okay? Number 5, save money before you separate it. Transitioning means changes in pay, housing allowance, medical coverage, and a lot of different stuff. You need to understand, once you separate it, you're not gonna get the same paycheck what you used to get while you were in active service, right? The 15th and the 30th, those paychecks won't miss, right? You always get paid twice a month. You need to make sure you start saving money. If, let's say, for example, you're planning on your retirement a year out, you need to start saving your money, make some investment, your 401k, your TSP, however you want to call it. Also, make sure you buy some life insurance coverage, okay, before you separate and before you start making your VA claims. Why? Because if you try to buy a life insurance policy after you separate and after you get all your VA claims, more than likely you're not gonna get a private life insurance. Okay, so make sure you start working on that before you even retire. All right, life insurance, and start saving money. Okay, and another thing that I want to put in the before you separate is you need to start networking. If you are planning on retiring a year out or maybe 24 months out now, you need to start networking, because once you become a civilian, it's a complete different world. Okay, if you're planning on separating or retiring from the service and you are looking into a civilian job or federal job or whatever the case, make sure you start working on your resume. Make sure you start looking in certain type of certifications, or maybe even finish your associate degree or bachelor's degree or master. If you're planning out your retirement 2 years out from now, make sure you knock out your resume and make sure it's ready for the civilian world, because it's a complete different story once you get out. Okay, you need to transfer all those military lingos into the civilian world. Okay, transitioning out of the military is a big life change. Okay, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Focus on those 5 things: your DD-214, your medical appointments, local benefits, your fitness plan, save money. Make sure all your documents prior for you to you separating, resume, start networking, because it will set up yourself for success. If you find this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with another service member who is preparing for their transition out. You're not alone in this journey. Let's do it the right way.